So, remember when you said earlier this year that you wanted to read more? Well, if you need a little motivation to get you through more pages, the Seattle Public Library has got a program for you. Book Bingo is back, and to find out more, I spoke with the library's Misha Stone, along with Rebecca Hogues from Seattle Arts and Lectures.
So for those who are joining us for the first time or just need a reminder, the way that you play is, for one, we also have this available for English language readers as well as Spanish language readers for the second year. And you can either read a line across, which if you get the raccoon in the middle, that's only 4 books. If you do a line without that middle bit, you do 5 books. And when you just do a line, you can enter to for our drawing from local independent bookstore gift certificates. And then for those who want to challenge themselves, you can do Bingo Blackout, which means you'll read 24 books between now and September 7th and get your entry in by the 7th so that you're eligible for the grand prize drawings as well, which include a 2021-22 Seattle Arts and Lectures series of your choice.
And I have to say, a couple years back, the Seattle Public Library, you did a kids reading log where we had to get through this maze. Completely inspired my kids. Bingo is going to inspire me. But for Rebecca, can you tell us more about the artists who actually designed and made the bingo cards themselves?
Oh, I would love to. Her name is Tessa Hulls, and she is a local artist and illustrator, and she actually has her first graphic novel, Feeding Ghosts, is coming out in 2022, so something to look forward to. It's an amazing nonfiction memoir about her grandmother who fled from Shanghai as a journalist. So an intergenerational family memoir, and her board this year is just gorgeous. It features woodland creatures from Seattle, all of our favorite book friends like the raccoon, and I think there's even a squirrel giving a keynote. It's just such an amazing board, full of detail, and I think it'll just bring a lot of joy to our readers.
A squirrel giving a keynote. Yes, I am there for that. Misha, do you have a preview of some of these books?
We wanted to give you some reading suggestions and give you some ideas for some of the categories we chose this year. Asian American or Pacific Islander authors, one in particular, a local author, My Unforgotten Seattle by Ron Chu. And he's a journalist by trade, and he brings to life the past, both his childhood memories of growing up as a first generation Chinese American on Beacon Hill in the 50s and 60s, his family history, and then to his decades as an editor at the International Examiner, his community storytelling and philanthropic work with the Wing Luke Museum. This is a memoir that's just full of stories of the people who make up the International District of Seattle. And it just shows how important it is to tell these stories, share these stories of our AAPI community. Cli-Fi, or environmental nonfiction. Cli-Fi are those novels that deal with climate change and look at that theme. But I wanted to mention something on that environmental nonfiction side, a collection of essays called World of Wonders in Praise of Fireflies, Whale Sharks, and Other Astonishments by Amy Nazukamata-Till. And she is a poet, and she brings her poetic sensibility to a collection of essays that are gorgeously illustrated, little vignettes about nature's animals and plants, as well as reflections on motherhood and race. It's an eye-opening, thought-provoking, perspective-enlarging collection of essays.
Wow, it sounds like there's a lot wrapped up in that book. Rebecca, you have a couple books to preview as well, right?
I do, and I have 2 categories that I think can be your secret sauce to bingo if you're going for the blackout. And the 2 categories are graphic novel and poetry or essays, and these are 2 genres that I think often people feel a little trepidation about. Maybe they're not genres that they normally read. But I think if you give them a try, one, they tend to be kind of quick categories. You can read a book of poetry in an hour. You can often read a graphic novel in an hour or 2. And if you're going for the blackout, having some books that you can get through in a day is key. And I wanted to share one that I read this year that I loved, which is Good Talk by Mira Jacob. And Mira is of South Asian descent, and she writes in this book about the questions that her 6-year-old son is asking in the lead up to the 2016 election, and then after the election, as her family is grappling with what it means to be a multiracial family in a time of divisive politics, and as a mother of a now 8-year-old. I know those questions really well, the difficult questions that our kids ask us, and then to read them through the lens that she's sharing with us of her multiracial family, it brought the difficulty of those questions to a whole new light. And it's just one of those books that you can read in an hour, but it'll stay with you for a lifetime.
I love that. What about your second? You were talking about poetry, post-colonial love poem.
Yes, which is just a beautiful book by Natalie Diaz, whom we just hosted in our poetry series a couple of weeks ago. And this book, I read it a couple of months ago, and she is a Mojave poet, a Native American poet, and she writes a lot about indigenous language acquisition in the book, but she also writes about basketball. She was a professional basketball player for a couple of years in Europe after college. And she blends together love poems with poems about basketball, with poems about indigenous language acquisition, about poems about her family. And they're just gorgeously written, and they just really hit you, I think, on like that mind-heart connection that I so love about poetry. And she is just a gorgeous poet. And I think if you read the book in an hour, but it will stay with you for a lifetime.
Already finished half of one of the books they mentioned. So many great suggestions.